Hey everyone, it's Mari. I'm here with the response to the Scrappy Tag 2017 questions. I was tagged by Crafty Maggie here on YouTube, and I thought instead of doing a face-to-face process video here, I would do a process video with an actual layout that I'm going to be working on, and then answer some of the questions on the tag. So sometimes it's nice to scrapbook a project that you're going to frame. And I feel like that process looks a little bit different than something that we're going to actually scrapbook for an album. So I'm just going to take you through the process here today while I answer some of the questions from the Scrappy Tag. And you'll notice that I'm using a large photo, which I printed using my Canon Pixma large format printer. So I'm just going to let you watch away here while I answer some of these questions from the Scrappy Tag. And then I'll talk about the layout a little bit more at the end of the video. So like I said, I'm not going to answer all 15 questions. I'm just going to pick and choose because this video is not long enough to provide answers for all of the questions on the list. So the first question that I'm answering is, if I were to have my own line of scrapbooking supplies, what 3 elements would be required? So I would have to have pattern paper, of course. I'd have to have an ephemera pack, and I would definitely have mixed media products included, since a lot of my layouts I do use mixed media on. Another question I'm going to answer is, what is your most used social media platform besides YouTube? It used to be Facebook, and I still use Facebook quite a bit, but Instagram is kind of actually overtaking that. And I just find that Instagram is... I don't know what it is about it. It's just slightly more instant or something than Facebook. Maybe a little bit easier to follow people. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but I just like the elements of Instagram a little bit more. I guess it's instant, thus the name, more so than Facebook. The other question I'm answering is, who's your dream collaborator? That was a tough one. I did choose a couple of people. Of course, you guys know that I collaborate with Kelly Barron already, and that is a lot of fun. We have a great time together. If I were to choose another person to collaborate with, I really love Becky Adams' work, and she just seems like a really genuine, awesome person. So I would love to collaborate with her. Another person is Jennifer Gallagher. Amazing work, love her style and her personality and so on. So those 2 people would be amazing to collaborate with. Another question was, this was fun to think about. Number 6, the 6th question was, if money was no object, what would your dream purchase be? I would go to IKEA and I would buy all the things, like everything on my wish list, definitely. And I would just make a new craft room. I would have a huge craft room. I have a room right now that's probably about 10 by 10, which is pretty nice. It's a bedroom. Used to be my daughter's bedroom, and it is a really nice space. But, you know, if you could have whatever you wanted, I would have a studio that has a huge window and, you know, tons of space and all the IKEA storage I wanted, etc. So that would be a dream, definitely. Another question I'm going to answer is, what do you have the most of in your stash? I think I had to pick 3 things for this. I have a ton of stamps because I used to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I just have massive amounts of stamps. I have a lot of pattern paper, and I have a lot of mixed media supplies. I'm also a painter, and I have tons of acrylic paint, and I'm building my stash of watercolors and all kinds of mixed media supplies, a lot of stuff. Question 10 was, where do you craft? I just mentioned that previously, but I do craft in a bedroom on the main floor of my house, which used to be my daughter's bedroom before she moved into our lower level portion of our house. And so I have transformed that into a craft room. So it is a nice space, but you know, you could always use more space, right? I am next going to answer question 11. Question 12, which was, do you put your layouts in a pile or do you put them away right away? I tend to put my layouts in a pile, and I kind of leave them in a certain spot in I actually have a cube in my calyx for my layouts, and I will put them in a pile in that shelf for about 3 months or so, and then I'll put a whole bunch away, and then it continues and it starts over again. The next question I'm going to answer is question 13. Who would my scrappy crush be? Oh gosh, like I couldn't pick one, right? So there's way too many, and this list is incomplete, but I'm going to say my top 4 would be Maggie Holmes, Paige Taylor Evans, Heidi Swap, and Amy Tangerine. But like there's more, obviously, like Dear Lizzie, Elizabeth Karchner, and so on and so forth. The next one was my favorite place to shop. I don't have a lot of places to shop for scrappy stuff. I have a couple tiny little local stores, and then I have a Michael's that's a 2.5 hour drive from me. So I don't really have necessarily a favorite scrappy store. There is a store in the city nearest to me called Soul Paper, and if you follow my YouTube channel, you've probably heard me mention Soul Paper before. It's a little shop in Saskatoon. If you are in the area, or if you're ever traveling through Saskatoon, I definitely recommend stopping there. It's a little shop on 20th Street. It's totally adorable. They have so many really neat things. Like they've got planners. They have the Prima planners. They have a ton of Midori products, including like the full line of Traveler's Notebook stuff. They've got wedding invitations, and they've got all kinds of stationery. They've got distress inks, and they have, oh gosh, like the Dilutions products, and they've got, so they have art journals and a really wide array and a really interesting array of products. They have really nice gift items and tons of stuff. I would have to say Soul Paper is probably my favorite sort of like interesting paper store. Not necessarily designated just for scrapbooking, but they have a lot of really neat stuff, and the staff there is really nice too, and they just are super accommodating. If you want to order anything in, or you want to put something on a wish list in their store, they do all of that kind of stuff. And they also have a customer I'm not going to say there, I don't think it's not really appreciation, but they have a little program there where you can stamp a card, and if you spend so much money, you get a discount and stuff like that. So that is really nice. There's another little shop that's farther away from me. It's probably about a 5 hour drive, which is pretty far. It's called Scrappin' with Tea, and she has just a really great little shop and tons of stuff. And she actually attends the Scrapbook and Cards Today Crop and Create, and I shopped with her when I was at Crop and Create last fall, and she has a really great shop too. So she's out of Moose Jaw. Yes, that's the name of a town, a city in Saskatchewan. So if you have never heard like all of the interesting names of places in Saskatchewan, you need to check that out. Moose Jaw is one of them. The last question in the Scrappy Tag was, what would your dream job in the crafting industry be? I think my dream job would definitely be travel teaching. I've actually been thinking about teaching some classes just here in my little town, just as my teaching career kind of starts to wind down. I think that's something that would be a really natural thing for me to do with this in this industry, just because it's something like it's the profession that I chose for 30 years of my life, and I think I would really enjoy that. I think some of it would definitely come naturally, and I'm not nervous when I get up and talk in front of people and that kind of thing, so that would be a bonus. So that would be fun. And that was the last question, guys. So I didn't answer all of the questions. I just sort of picked the ones that I actually had an answer for. Some of the questions I didn't really have an answer for them. So it would have just sort of been me saying, I don't really know. So I just picked the ones that I thought would be more natural for me to answer. So those were the questions for the Scrappy Tag. Now I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about this layout that I'm working on. So if you are wanting to frame a layout, So the idea that I had to share with you today about the project and the process that I'm showing you is that sometimes it's nice, you have a really nice photograph and you'd like to frame it, but you want to make it a little bit more interesting, but you want to put it into just a regular frame. What I did here was I took this photograph of Bailey. I have the photo on a disc and I printed it onto some glossy photo paper in my Canon Pixma printer. And my printer is an 8720. It is just a really fantastic printer. I love it. And I don't use it a ton, but I use it for special photographs because the ink in it is relatively expensive and it doesn't last a really super long time. So I use my printer sparingly, but I really, really love the idea that I have the freedom to print in a larger format. So what I wanted to do with this photograph of Bailey is I wanted to frame it and I wanted to put it on some special paper. I wanted to include a piece of literature that is special to me. And so this is what I chose to do. So you'll see the poem that I chose. It's an Emily Dickinson poem on the left of the photograph. And what I did was I sized the text so that it would be roughly the same size as the photograph that I've printed, because I had the idea that I wanted the photo on the right and the text on the left. And now I'm just going to take some really, really simple embellishments and do the embellishing for the layout. So it's not going to be anything really complicated. It's just what I'm going to do is take some of my favorite embellishments from the Chasing Dreams collection from Maggie Holmes and embellish in a really simple but beautiful way, because I want the focus to be on the words and on the photograph. So I'm just going to take some of the chipboard pieces and a couple of stickers just to finish this off. So it's a 12 by 12 layout in its entirety, because I've used that parrot paper, that pattern paper, as the frame for the photograph. And the reason why I chose that paper is because of the colors. I just love the colors in that paper. And in this collection, it's probably my very most favorite collection that Maggie Holmes has ever come out with. And a lot of her collections tend to look quite similar. She has a lot of, you always can expect there to be some florals and that sort of thing. But I loved the colors in this collection, the pastels and the white. It's not a cream on most of the papers and the embellishments in this collection. It's that clean snow white, and I really like that. So I just liked the colors and that white in that pattern paper. So that's the 12 by 12. That creates a 12 by 12 proportion of the entire layout. And then what I did is I took some cardstock that's kind of that teal color, some textured cardstock from my stash. This is actually a really old piece of textured cardstock from Stampin' Up! That I've had in my stash for a long time. And I cut that down, I sized that down so that it's a matte on top of that bird paper, the parrot paper. And then I took the white cardstock and sized that down a little bit to matte on top of the teal paper. And I had already, before I sized that white paper down, I had already printed that poem on that paper in my large format printer. So that white cardstock is actually originally obviously a 12 by 12 piece that I printed the poem on, then I ran it through my printer and with that poem on it. So I'm just really liking the way that this looks, and it is super, super clean, but it's just going to be really pretty. And I think that it just really captures the essence of what was happening at this moment, and the sentiments of the poem and that sort of thing. It's just a really nice way to present a photograph, and it saves it in a way that you can put it up and share it with others, so that it's not just in an album all the time, and it kind of becomes a piece of art that you can put up. So if if you have a grandchild, or you have anybody special in your life, you want to give them a gift, or it's a special occasion, you want to do something like that, something nice for them that is a keepsake, this is actually a really simple way of creating something like that that does not cost a lot of money. If you don't have a large format printer, you can take your items to a printing place like Staples or wherever, and they will print this for you. And it doesn't cost that much to have that done. You know, Costco might even do that for cardstock as well. If you just take something in on a thumb drive or a disk or whatever, and ask them to print that for you, I bet the cost would be nominal, so that you're still ending up with a project that is just really nice and, like I said, pretty inexpensive, and just a really great little keepsake. So I wanted to share this with you today. I wanted to make sure that I participated in the Scrappy Tag. I'm not a huge fan of face-to-face videos. I don't do them very often. I haven't done one for a really long time, but I did want to participate because Megan had tagged me. And thanks so much, Megan, for the tag. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for including me. It was fun to answer those questions that I could, that I had an answer for. And so that was good. And I was also able to share this project with you today, which hopefully gives you some ideas about something really simple that you can do that is a nice piece of memorabilia. Thanks so much for stopping by today, guys. I really appreciate it. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you another time.